very interesting bits of information being pouring out of Fight Week
Yeah.
about this Abu Dhabi card and Islam Makhachev and who he might fight. We sort of assumed Charles Oliveira would fill that spot. However, that was the first thing we heard was he
Yep.
said he will not be ready for October. He said it's too soon. He said he would love the fight in November, December, but he's willing to wait. And
Yeah.
Ali put on Twitter that Islam will be defending in October. So pretty clear that they're keeping him for that Abu Dhabi card. That's the
Yep.
best use of him. He's a big favorite over there. Then Alexander Volkanovski, after this dominant win, we kind of said, well, at least in my opinion, when I heard those Charles comments, I said,
Yeah.
well, the ball's in his court now. So
Yep.
if he goes out there and performs, he can call for that. Like he can get that easily. Well, he gets on there and then says he needs to have an arm surgery. And I'm like, oh man. But he's saying, I'll be back soon, whatnot. Well, I was prepared to come on here and be like, well, what do we do here, Dom? Because
Mm-hmm.
you have the top two guys that anybody has even considered fighting Islam in October, or I guess Benil Dariush, but since he lost, he's fallen out. And now both of them didn't seem like they would be willing to, or able to go on
Mm-hmm.
that day. However, Volkanovski did say in his post-fight presser that this is it doesn't sound like it's a very serious
Yeah.
operation, a scope or something.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently it's the same thing he had done before the Islam fight
Yeah.
the first time. So he's saying he could easily do it and be ready to go for October. So I guess Dominic, and then Dana at his post-fight presser mentioned that when they were asking him about Islam, they were like, yeah, it doesn't seem like Volk or Charles will be ready for that date. What do you do with Islam on that card? And he said, oh, we'll be announcing Abu Dhabi real soon. He said Abu Dhabi likes to coordinate when we do, but he said it with this smirk that tells me, do they already have the fight booked? Is this already booked? Are we getting Arman Sarukian too in the title fight, Dom? What do you think?
Oh, wow. I guess that's possible. I definitely wasn't thinking that. But there is nobody else, right? And I mean, if there's only the only other situation I can think of is winner of Dustin Justin, but I anticipate that fight being a war, therefore not being able to turn around in less than
Well,
3
yeah.
months to fight
Let's not
again.
even hell
So,
no.
and I mean, I guess
The only
Arman would be
options are
next up.
Arman and Matosh Gamrot. Those are the top ranked guys that are coming
Yeah.
off wins.
And Arman has the built-in story with Islam a long time ago. The rivalry, yeah. The next man up mindset coming into play here for MMA. Arman could be. I would be shocked if it was him. But again, if Dana says they're announcing it soon, they just found this out about Volk. How soon is soon? How soon do you
Yeah,
mean we're gonna
like
get it, Dana?
this
You
is
know?
something. This is like this time. It's a time when you want to be able to peek behind the curtains and you want to
Yeah.
be a fly on the wall for these matchmaker meetings because he said it in a way that made me think that they already have their fight
Like it's
done.
ready.
But a lot of times they don't even have it done when they announce it. We found
Yeah,
that out
that's true.
time and time again. Right now, I'm predicting that Volk will be the guy that fights Islam in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
But if it's not him, I think it's Arman Sarukian.
It has to be, right?
Great timing, by the way, because I just bought an Arman Sarukian Full Violence T-shirt, so I'm happy. That'd be big time for the brand
Yeah.
right here.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, I think it's very interesting. They had a face-off Volk did with Ilia Topuria outside the
Yeah.
cage.
Yeah.
So this is just interesting because it almost feels like he's sort of leaning more into the Ilia fight, and I could see that happening maybe like January, February of next year. So it's like, okay, he's kind of leaning into that direction, but then he also says he wants to go back up and compete for that title. So I don't know. It seems
Yeah.
almost like I could see the UFC kind of being like, all right, maybe not have Islam's next fight be Volk again. Let's have him fight someone like
Somebody
Arman
new. Yeah.
and see if he can kind of build a reign, get a little more hype behind him, a little more, credit to himself as a
Mhm.
champion, and then bring Volk back in for another and make it a bigger fight. That's my mentality. I hate immediate rematches. I love when guys go their separate ways and they come back and it's a bigger fight, but it's also a risk when you do it that way.
Yeah, for sure. And to your point about Volk, you're right. I fully expected him to go on and meet Islam all the way. He was going to push, push, push. It's happening in Abu Dhabi. I thought he was going to be ready. And you're right. He didn't really commit fully to either, but it almost felt like he was more enticed by fighting Ilia Topuria. And then you add in that face off. One thing's for certain, let's say, Ilia's next up at featherweight, no matter if it's an interim shot or Volk, right? I feel like that after last night, it's hard not to say that at least.
And
But
then
you never know.
and then here's another interesting tidbit from Dana's post-fight presser. I'm not sure if you watched this. I don't know if I'm just
I saw
relaying
the thread.
information. Oh, the thread. Okay. Well, that means you didn't watch it, but okay.
Right.
You have a very funny way of telling me you haven't watched something or done something. You say like, no, but I did this. It's like,
And
okay,
I
well,
played
that means
Battleship. Yeah.
It's like, okay, but you didn't do what I'm asking you, and that's not a big deal. Just I feel like I'm like your parent, like asking you if you did something. No, but in that you probably saw, I guess, from the thread that Dana was talking about how he had never considered going to Spain.
Yeah.
And then once Ilia spoke up about wanting to go there, now his people are looking into it. And I found that very interesting because I'm like, well, who else would you headline that card with besides Ilia Topuria?
Exactly.
So are the UFC preparing, if Max were to beat the Korean Zombie, are you preparing to do a Max Ilia fight night headliner maybe sometime beginning the first quarter next year? That's a lot of planning, and I don't know if the UFC really do it like that. They seem to go off the cuff a lot, and I don't know, but like, why else would you look into a Spain fight night if you're not going to headline it with Ilia Topuria? You know what I'm saying?
Because like, can you do a pay-per-view there? Like, I don't know, their first time going there. Can you do like Volk and him there?
That's interesting.
Volk
Maybe.
in enemy territory, but maybe, I don't know.
I was thinking of it as a fight night, but I guess it's possible. Depends on how ballsy they want to be.
Yeah.
The possibilities are endless.
They are. There's a lot of options.
I like to come in here with more like clear directions for everybody. Instead, it's just kind of like, well,
sometimes
they could do this,
fun.
but they could do that.
Yeah. It's
like
that song.
It's like that jingle from the old Reese's Pieces, or not Reese's Pieces, the Reese's Puffs commercials were like,
you can get
a little bit of this, or
Yeah.
you can get with that.
Yeah.
That's what we're working with here. That's a song called by Black Sheep, by the way. But anyways, let's move on to the co-main event, Dominic. And